Welcome. This module focuses on popular computer system security myths. Let's start by reaching back in the history to get a better picture of the origins of these false assumptions. PCs turned 30 just recently. The first 32-bit computer was created in 1980 by AT&T, and the first IBM PC was created in 1981. Why do I mention that? Notice how often we tend to disregard how much has changed in the past 30 years. From our perspective, 30 years is not a long time, but for computer systems, this is like dog years. Another crucial factor that has turned the world of computer systems, or the global network, the Internet, on its head is the year 1968. This was when the Internet research began. How did it all come about anyway? The history of the Internet starts with ARPANET, a network that joined 4 computers located in 4 different universities. ARPANET was originally designed for the military. Why did Americans invest in researching it? They lost the race to launch the world's first satellite. This was 1968. The fact that they lost the space race to the USSR was a major source of concern and brought up a near panic in military circles. The Russians appeared to be more innovative and more knowledgeable, and they gained a potentially military advantage over the US. How should they defend themselves against it? Intelligence centers needed to be connected, but in order to do this, a way of transmitting information had to be developed to connect them. ARPANET was strictly military in its origin. It was not created with users in mind. And by users, I refer to people that use the Internet today. This has to be emphasized in this stage of the course. The net we know today was developed in the 90s. The World Wide Web was created only 20 years ago, and its appearance completely changed the way global computer networks have been used. Another factor that contributed to the creation of computer system security myths, which we'll list in a minute, is the fact that most of us use computer systems to a limited extent, to achieve specific goals. This is similar to having a driver's license and knowing how to drive the car, but not understanding what happens inside when we press the gas pedal. Using computers can look a lot like that for most of us. We think we know how to use them well, especially teenagers who grew up with computers. This ability, however, doesn't translate to knowing the mechanisms that are hidden under the GUIs and the mechanisms that are relevant for our security. If you don't know something, you're reluctant to admit it. No one wants to own up to the fact that they accomplish computer tasks by shooting in the dark, or only know how to click a mouse. Instead, we will often resort to opinions and stereotypes that have been picked up at home or at school. These opinions are spread because they are repeated by millions of users, not because they're true. The first myth is, you can ensure total protection of your computer system. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, this is merely a myth for several reasons. If you wanted your system to be secure, you would need to bar users from interacting with it. You can't be sure whether or not the goals and aims of users are in fact malicious. So the ideal computer in this scenario doesn't accept any input. It does not have a mouse or any keyboard, or any port that you could use to plug in a smartphone. But it's still possible that this computer, safe and secure from users, could still pose a threat. It could, for example, have software that, although tested, sometimes brings up errors that could be exploited to lower the security of the system. An intrusion or data extraction is a concern here. This should never happen in a fully protected computer system. The software has to go. Don't install any programs, including operating systems, and don't attach any devices to your computer. The principle of a secure computer is within reach. Now it only needs to be physically protected. If it's turned on, someone might use it to read data saved on the disks. So to secure it physically, you could, for example, pour cement over it and throw it in a well. Now you're nearly 100% secure, though we can't guarantee full certainty. Your system is useless, but looks secure enough.